Hello, my friends, and yes, I'm back. It's Friday. It's Friday, 1st of March. So welcome to a little different segment. And today I want to highlight one of my favorite content creators, and it's Manosphere Highlights Daily. And the reason I love this guy's stuff is because he's so meticulous and detailed about his data and how he backs up all of his videos with facts, evidence. And I love that because I try to do the same thing with my videos. If I get the time and I can put the energy into finding out what I can back what I'm saying up with some other statements, I will gladly do that because I feel that, everybody can say anything they want nowadays online. But if you can back it up with some evidence, I think this makes content much richer. But the reason why I want to highlight this particular video is because it ties in to another problem that I have been encountering from one of my subscribers, a female, yes, who we had a chat, and she's upset. She's been married for just over 6 years, and she's frustrated because her husband is no longer romantic. He don't want to do anything romantic with me. She says in the first early days, he used to be so romantic, and you guys know the story. I do this because I went through the same stuff. I went through the same thing in my relationship. My wife has now just given up because she realized that, hey, we're married and life is a little bit more serious, not about going out. And she also realized that, hey, we got kids. We need to put our energy into those kids. So there's not a lot of extravagant stuff like we did when we didn't have kids. All right. But he actually produced this video that will show you where this whole idea that women think that we have to be romantic. And what the hell is romantic anyway? And the next big question is, why is that essential for a relationship to be successful? Or is it? Because these are the questions that every single couple have to contend with. Who said we have to be romantic to make a relationship work? Where the hell did this idea come from? Romantic. You know what? I'm going to ask ChatGPT, what is the definition of romantic? Let's hear what she says. And I call my ChatGPT she because I like a feminine voice. I like to hear a feminine voice. So I gave her a feminine voice. So let me ask, what is the definition of being romantic in today's modern society? And where did it begin?
Being romantic today often involves thoughtful gestures, expressing love verbally, and spending quality time. The concept of romance has evolved over time, but its roots trace back to medieval literature and courtly love traditions.
Are you saying it's not necessary for people to be romantic in a relationship?
No. Being romantic isn't necessary for everyone, but it can enhance relationships by fostering emotional connection and appreciation. It depends on personal preferences and the dynamics of the relationship.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you have more questions or want to chat about something else, feel free to let me know.
No, thanks. Listen to me, guys. If you guys have not got yourself into understanding ChatGPT and how I just did that, you're falling behind. The older man is learning AI at a fascinated. I am absolutely fascinated with AI, artificial intelligence. And ChatGPT by far is one of the best. Gentlemen, if you are not using AI at this point in your life or don't understand what it is, you're going to be left behind very quickly. So take it from an older man. Get up to date with AI. Everything AI. All right. So let's get back on subject. But before we get into the video, guys, give me a thumbs up on this video, please. And of course, if you're watching the video and you're not subscribed, do that. Please do that right now. It takes nothing from you. It means everything to me. Okay? Turn on the notification bell so you can be advised when I drop new videos. And if you want to ask a quick question, get me over on Instagram. I promise you I will respond. But if you want to book a session where you have a nice long conversation with me for half an hour or an hour, go over to askanolderman.com and book a session. Very reasonable. All right, so let's get into the video. This is going to be a good one. If you haven't seen Manosphere Highlights Daily, you're missing out, guys.
Noticed how most men, they always start off very romantic, right? Most men are just doing this as an act to get what they want. So it's either to get sex or whatever, or to get a girlfriend, get a wife. Have you ever noticed how as time goes on in the relationship, the dates are few and far between, they're farther apart. It went from going on a date twice a week to suddenly it's once a week, and then it's once every 2 weeks, and then it's once a month, and then it's once every 6 months.
So that's an intro that I really enjoy because he's setting the scene to show you why he's doing this. He's critiquing another woman's YouTube channel that's talking about how men are no longer romantic. And that's the subject what we're going to be approaching. He has some amazing points, but I feel I can add a little bit more from an older man's perspective.
Decentering Men, episode 19. Most men are not romantic. The content creator makes some interesting points, but her arguments consist of half-truths and opinions that are not based on data and statistics, which is done on purpose to please her audience because in this case, half-truths benefit women. The whole truth doesn't. This insight is echoed by researchers such as Nora Vincent, Cassie J, Helen Smith, Sherazad Ali, and other women who have objectively studied the male and female dynamic. And like I always say, women always tell on themselves. Just let them talk long enough.
So he's going to take it from this very simple perspective. Fairy tales are not for average men. Listen, I knew this from a long time ago, and I keep telling you guys this in all of my videos. Every woman is looking for the Disney fairy tale. But when you get over to this side of the world where people don't have fairy tales, right? We find the thinking different, but there are certain similarities to it. Okay? In other words, you still have to show some sort of indication that you can protect and provide a woman. That should not be associated with romance. It is simply part of our biology because the female is the weaker sex. But listen, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into the video.
The average man only spends an average of $150 per month on romantic gestures. If all I need is $150 a month, for God's sakes, I can put a freaking Cash App on my Instagram, or I can start a YouTube channel and just talk shit online and make more than $150 a month.
Yes, she's talking a lot of shit. It's a hustle. It's a money grab. And with her $150 a month example, she does expose the foundation of the sense of entitlement modern women have. She says this almost at the end of her 45-minute video. Yes, I had to listen to everything to make a proper response video for you guys. We don't talk shit because that will only make you feel good in the moment, but won't help you in the long run. She's not helping women with this video. More about that later. Now, before we get into whether men are romantic or not, it is crucial to ask ourselves, do men owe women romance? I'm going to ask this question a lot in this presentation because the romantic desires that prevail in modern society are not inherently ingrained in men's biological instincts. But as social beings with a natural tendency to form connections, we strive to be together. This means romance is learned behavior. It's cultural.
Most men are not romantic. A lot of us have been socialized since we were young to believe that we're going to find our Prince Charming and we're just going to spend our lives serving him. That's another undertone that I never really liked about the way that people socialized us as little girls. So you would go from serving the evil stepmother to now having the privilege of spending your life serving your Prince Charming or serving the king and sitting beside him on his throne.
Stop it right there. She leads with incomplete information and a crooked opinion. She's telling her side of the fairy tale, not our side. As you can see, the fairy tale doesn't include the average Joe. It revolves around Prince Charming. This means common women become princesses. Royalty. Serving your prince as a princess or your king as a queen isn't the experience of your everyday person. It is a privilege. An extremely important aspect of the Cinderella fairy tale that people, especially women, overlook is that the fairy tale plays out in the 1800s.
I need to make this sink in with a lot of you guys because this is how every single woman these days think. Well, I want a guy to make me feel like a princess. Like a princess. In reality, how many princesses existed back in any period of time? Even today, we got 0.000000001 of the population, right? So the royal family in Britain right now, for those of us who still have monarchies in our society, I can refer to Britain because but the point is that we probably have princess like 4 or 5 out of the millions of people that live in the UK. Just say in the UK, because that's in the land, right? They probably have about 4 or 5. That's it. But yet, every single bloody woman wants to be treated like a princess. Every woman wants to call themselves a queen. How many queens can there be in one country? One. But every woman wants to feel like she is one. From the lowly of the lowest, picky head, morbidly obese individual to the old grandma. Oh, I'm a queen. I'm still a queen. I'm a queen. You got to treat me like a queen. It's insane. It's absolute insanity. But he's going to break it down and show you why this fairy tale isn't for the average Joe.
In the 1800s, let's have a look at the most common jobs from the 1800s. Blacksmith, carpenter, wagon maker, saloon keeper, tailor. Farming was by far the most common occupation in the 19th century America and Europe. If this is an African American woman speaking, she has to be careful because slavery was part of the 1800s. You were not going to put your Cash App on social media and run your mouth. In the 1800s, work was largely physical and many jobs required manual labor. Industries such as agriculture, manufacturing, and construction heavily relied on physical strength and manual skills. In other words, men were working their butts off. Women don't tell you this side of the fairy tale because it doesn't suit their narrative. Let's have a look at the most common jobs from 2024. Do you see any farming or blacksmiths? No, you don't. But what you do see is nursing. Nursing is one of the most common jobs in the US. If you're a nurse working in a US clinic or hospital, there's an 87.9% chance that your nursing colleagues are women. Healthcare is big business. It's not a coincidence that they don't want you healthy, even though we are much healthier than in the 1800s. Janice, read.
Comparing death causes between 1867 and 1980. To show how periods of history compare, 100 chronological deaths were copied from the Kent County, Michigan, courthouse for the years 1867 and 1980. In the 1867 sampling of 100 deaths, 26 children under 18 months died compared to 1 in 1980. The average age of death in 1867 was 26.8 years compared to 77.4 in 1980. In 1867, consumption, tuberculosis, claimed the lives of 18, childhood diseases 8, childbirth 4, and typhoid fever 5. These causes of death were non-existent in the 1980s.
Do you think romance is the priority in these harsh living conditions? Do you think it's a coincidence that these effinists come out of the woodwork when the world is built, when the world is safe, when society is advanced to the point that a woman doesn't directly need to depend on a man to survive? This is why women, effinists in particular, are easily schooled on these topics because they have the tendency to exclude the sociological and biological aspects that impact human behavior. Listening to her video feels like hearing a spoiled brat. Compared to royalty, the majority of the population in the 1800s faced various economic challenges and lower living standards. If a prince wants to marry you in the 1800s, he's doing you more than a favor, and you would happily serve him.
And there you have it, guys. There you have to understand. Women keep expecting these amazing lifestyles, and the only way they can ask for it is because they're all living an amazing life, and they're still complaining that it's not enough. They want more and more and more and more and more. And now We are literally workhorses for these women. And these women say, well, we want even more. We want to go out and do it ourselves as well. It shows you, my friends, and I hate to say it, you cannot satisfy a woman. And if you make a woman get too comfortable, she will revolt. That's the problem with so many of these women in today's modern environment. They're bored. They don't have anything to do. Life is good. Back in the day, a woman was in the field from sunrise to sunset. She don't have no time to think about doing her nails and her lashes and her BBLs and getting her weave fronts done and getting this dress and that dress and this Prada and this outfit so that she could show off to her friends. There was none of that. They were working their ass off just to survive. And there was a man that had to go out and dig the fields or fight somewhere or go dig trenches. Panama Canal, for example. Thousands of men died doing that job. Thousands on the workplace. These men climbing skyscrapers without any safety harness, etc. Building the world. He would come back home to a woman who had already hit the fields, then got home and cooked the meals and took care of the kids while she was doing all of that together. The equivalent of a woman going to the office today, sitting on her ass, typing a few things, right? And then bitching because she got to go home and cook for her husband. Back then, the woman did it. There was no choice because the man expended all of his energy on really hard jobs, and he was the one bringing home the majority of the money. So the woman would happily do what she had to do so that her family could survive. But the women are complaining about it today, and they have it 100 times easier.
Women love fairy tales because they can all be princesses one day. But this isn't our story. It's not the tale of the average man. Yet, women expect us to treat them like princesses. She mentions the Disney princess syndrome, where many women are socialized to believe in this fairy tale and suffer from unrealistic expectations. Keep this in mind because she's going to use this fairy tale as an analogy to argue that men are not romantic. Let's continue.
But have you ever noticed how most men, they always start off very romantic, right? Most men are just doing this as an act to get what they want. So it's either to get sex or whatever, or to get a girlfriend, get a wife. Have you ever noticed how as time goes on in the relationship, the dates are few and far between, they're farther apart. It went from going on a date twice a week to suddenly it's once a week, and then it's once every 2 weeks, and then it's once a month, and then it's once every 6 months.
The man does that because he needs to show you at least he can provide you with certain basic requirements in life. That's it. Because back in the day, we had to pay a dowry. We had to show that we were capable of providing and protecting you. We had to show the family, the father, that, hey, I can take care of your daughter. She's going to be okay. That was it. It wasn't romantic. It was a requirement. It was a financial requirement in order to make sure she was okay. This idea of romantic now is just the fluff that the elites of the elites did because they could afford it. Prince never had a job.
Going on a date twice a week to suddenly...
What does this sound like for you guys? Your sex life, right? When you first start the sex life, what'd she do? Oh, every day. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Killing it. You get married. What happens? Oh, not tonight, honey. Not tonight. Oh, now it's instead of every other night, it's every other week. Then it moved from every other week to every other month. And then all of a sudden you're negotiating for it. Oh, she got you begging for it. What is the difference? There's no difference. And it doesn't matter how romantic you get. These two things are not tied to each other. The reality of it is that she's going on about the men actually hooked you in. No, it wasn't a hook. All he had to show you was initially, listen, I can take care of you. You don't know me. I can take care of you. I can assist with some of the heavy lifting of your financial burden. That's what he's displaying. He's not displaying the fact that, oh, for the rest of our life, I'm going to be taking you out for dinners every other night. We're going to be flying off to here. We're going to be going to concerts every week. No, that's unrealistic and an absolute waste of money. The man simply has to show you that, hey, I can take care of you. And while you're in the relationship, he don't have to show you that. You're already committed. I can take care of you. Now let's work at this shit together. Now let's work at this thing called life together. You throw a kid in the mix, oh, things go crazily wrong because that little sucker is expensive. So you know what? Our romantic occasion, we get a box wine and we sit out on the porch or out on the balcony and we watch a Netflix movie on the iPad and we sip wine and we talk about our day and we hold hands until one of us falls asleep. You get my point, is that you all have to understand this isn't a fairy tale. Life is not a freaking fairy tale. But because you all grow up with this shit and all of these women are pumping these ideas in your head, you think that that's what life is about. Let's continue.
Romance is something that men often use as leverage to get what they want out of a woman. A lot of men will dangle romance in front of your face, or they will dangle the possibility of a romance in front of your face to get you to chase him or to get you to kind of seek his validation or spend time with him.
Okay. You tell me what happens when a man walks straight up to random women and asks them if they would like to sleep with him. 10 out of 10 times, the answer is no, even if the women find this man attractive. The other way around, it's 75% of men who would say yes if a woman would ask them to sleep with her. They've done a study about this a long time ago, but it still holds true to this day. A man learns early on that a direct approach strategy doesn't work. He understands that in order to get what he wants, he has to give something back in return. He has to give her what she wants. The woman seems to struggle with this concept because to the woman, romance is to receive. Check this out.
If you see an attractive man in your sights, would you approach him?
No, but I would align myself to where he could see me, and then he can make the decision. So, like, say he's over there, I'm like, let me get a drink, a round of shots for the bar. You can see me, and then you have the choice to be like, is this something I would want to pursue? And then that's kind of how I would make my move. But I would not be like, here's a drink for me and you. Absolutely not, no.
Women love romance, but they are not romantic. I repeat, women love romance, but they are not romantic. They are extremely passive in their approach because they are extremely superficial. Once again, do men owe women romance? Why do you think romance in a relationship stops? A car stops driving without fuel. Women are extremely passive when it comes to getting what they want from men, because that is exactly how women want to achieve their goals. They just want to show up and receive the world. They don't want to earn it. They don't want to build it, but they are the first ones to feel entitled to it. Let's take it a step further.
Not to mention the fact that most men can't even afford to be romantic. Being romantic costs money. It costs money to buy flowers every week. It costs money to take you to a nice restaurant. It costs money to find nice places to go, gas money and stuff like that. And most men, they don't even have the extra income or the extra funds to even afford that.
There you go. The saying goes, there is no romance without finance. Prince Charming doesn't have financial problems. Belle and the Beast don't work if the Beast is broke and doesn't turn into a handsome prince. Society has conditioned men and women to believe relationships are based on romance, a fairy tale. That's why relationships don't last in modern times. Women believe men should spend money on them for validation and proof of love.
And that is the reason why men are going their own way. The average guy don't have a bottomless pocket that he could just keep pushing money towards women every time she goes, oh, but you don't give me, but oh, look what she has. Oh, why don't we go on a trip? Why don't you take me out to dinner? Why don't you cash app me some money before you can even talk to me in the store? Men are sick of it. Don't talk to me if you don't have this type of car. Don't talk to me if you don't have a 6 figures. That's why men are going Colombia, Paraguay, Thailand, Philippines, anywhere else except around modern women who has these outrageous fairy tale demands. Prince Charles in the UK, he don't have to worry about money. None of these kings or princesses have to worry about money. But the 99.9999% of people in this world, they do. But for some reason, women have this illusion that every man should be throwing his money at them. The mere fact that she says, but the men don't have the money, should just cut her argument off right there, because she argued herself into a corner.
Not to mention the fact that most men can't even afford to be romantic. Being romantic costs money. It costs money to buy flowers every week. It costs money to take you to a nice restaurant. It costs money to find nice places to go, gas money and stuff like that. And most men, they don't even have the extra income or the extra funds to even afford that.
Because the answer is romance dead is not the question. The question should be, can men afford to be romantic? And the answer is no. Not in today's economy. Not a lot of people, not only men, people have that much disposable income. Simple. So the question is answered. She should have answered her question right there. And like he said in this video, this is a 45-minute video where she's arguing to the fact that, oh, men aren't romantic enough. Yeah, we can't afford to be romantic because romance is for the elites. And I'm saying this under the condition that a woman do not see things that are romantic if it does not involve money. If romance for you is walking in the park holding hands with a glass of cheap champagne or bottle of beer, right? Talking about the day and talking about our life. If that's romantic, anyone can do that. Yes, I agree. Any man should be able to say, hey, let's do that. Or any woman should be able to do that as well. But for some reason, the romance is all about what the man should be able to do. Because, she needs that stimulation, my friends. Remember, if a woman isn't kept stimulated, boredom sets in. And once boredom sets in, you're in trouble, my friend. But ladies, my advice to you is, hey, if you're bored or you're not getting anything done romantically and you'd like to do something romantic, do it yourself. Invite your husband out. Do something romantic for him. Why is it that romance should only come from one direction, from the man? If you want romance, hey, do it yourself. Listen, guys, go over to Manosphere Highlights Daily. I'll put the link in the description and watch the rest of this video because it's really informative. This guy, he makes some great content. I would love to know his name, but he never says his name in his videos. So let me know what you guys think. Do you get a lot of complaints from your woman about, you're not romantic enough or whatever? Or whatever, right? Let me know in the comments, okay? Let me know what you think about this video. And of course, listen, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Give me a thumbs up as you leave, all right? And book a chat if you'd like to have a good long conversation with me. All right. So guys, I'll see you in the next one. And remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you soon. Cheers.